Hello, everyone. We're looking at Unit 1.3b at WAMAP, considering exponents with negatives in them and how to evaluate them. First question is to simplify -5 squared. And then there are 4 in the next question. -2 squared, -2 squared, -2 to the 7th, and -2 to the 7th. So in reading these, we're going to have to take some of the PEMDAS rules into account. These parentheses become very important in how we evaluate these expressions. So let's take a look at these in a little more detail on the tablet. The first problem is -5 squared. When we solve or do any mathematical operations, we always have to follow PEMDAS, which is the order of operations, starting with anything in parentheses, okay? So we don't have any parentheses in this expression. But we do have an exponent, which is the next term. Exponents go before anything else. And so what we have here is 5 squared, right? So we're going to square this 5, which will give us 25. That's the first step. And then the next step will be to apply this negative sign to that. So 5 squared is 25. That's what we do first. We do this part first. And then we apply the negative sign. And sometimes when there's a negative sign in front of a number, it's easier to think of that as a -1 times whatever it is it's being applied to. So if you think of it this way, we are going to do our exponents first. We do our exponents right here. This is first. We do our exponents. So we get the 5 squared for 25. And then we do multiplication. And the multiplication here is -1 times whatever 5 times 5 was. So we end up with -25. Okay? So that's the answer for this question. And then let's take a look at the other 4. Here we have -2 squared. Now this -2 is in parentheses, which means they are protected. Parentheses, that's our first, whatever is isolated in parentheses, we got to look at that first. So this whole expression, -2 in parentheses, is being squared. That means you've got -2 in parentheses times -2 in parentheses. Here we are multiplying -2 times -2, and that yields a +4. Okay, so a slightly different outcome than the one up above where we had -5 squared. So 5 squared, and then we apply the negative, versus a -2 times a -2. You get -4. Here's one similar to the one we did first. So let's think of this as -1 times 2 squared. So according to PEMDAS, we're going to do parentheses first. So usually that means the operations contained inside parentheses, but there aren't any. So we're going to skip to exponents. We have 2 squared, which is 4. And then we're going to multiply that by -1. And that's going to give us a -4. That'll be our answer there. Okay, the next expression, -2 in parentheses to the 7th power. So this will be similar to the first one. -2, -2, -2, -2, -2. What do we got? 5, 6, and 7. So this is the same as, or the approach is similar to the first one, -2 squared. We've got -2 times -2 times -2 times -2 times -2 times -2 times -2. The interesting thing here is that this power is odd. And that means we are going to be flipping between positive and negative, positive and negative, positive and negative. And we will end up with a negative outcome because we've got an odd number of terms. So let's go ahead and look at these. Let's change colors. So this first part, -2 times -2, this evaluates to +4. This is the same thing that we got up here, right? But now we have -2 times +4. That gives us a -8. Then we have -8 times -2, which gives us a +16. Then we have +16 times -2, which is -32. And then -32 times -2, which is +64. And the last one is 64 times a -2, which is -128. And I can see my tablet has stopped updating. It's like it's gone out on break. All right. So these are the numbers I filled in. So positive, negative, positive, negative, positive, negative, and basically you've got 2 to the 7th power, which is 128. But because it's an odd number, we ended up doing, our last operation was a negative times a positive, which yielded a negative number. So -128. And then the last one, the negative of 2 to the 7th power. You can think of it that way. It's like -1 times 2 to the 7th. So 2 to the 7th we know is 128. We have to do that first because exponents go before regular multiplication. Then we multiply by -1, which gives us a negative sign. So it's the same answer. We just got there a slightly different way. All right, let's plug these in and see how we did. First answer was -25, -25. That went okay. Let's get a similar question. You can try that. So be very careful with this. Try to see this as -1 times 6 squared. Okay. -2 times -2 is a +4, and you don't need to put in the positive sign because a number is assumed to be positive unless it has a negative sign. This next one, the negative of 2 squared is -4. The one after that, -2 times -2 times -2, we found out was -128. And the last one, the negative of 2 to the 7th is also -128. Let's see how we did. That one was okay. And this one also okay. So remember to use PEMDAS when you're working on these, and it will help you with your evaluation. Try some of these similar questions and let me know if you get stuck. Just click the message instructor button, choose my name from the recipients list, and click send. You don't even have to type anything, and I'll try to get in touch with you in 24 hours. Good luck. Give it a try.